respect. Yeah. I think it's time for reality check. Yeah, reality check. Gotta get you back on cold. Reality check. For the young and the old. Reality check. Yeah, the heal your soul. Reality check. Get ready for the show.
Supplemental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
What up, though? How's everybody doing? I wanted you guys in a sense to find out about this school because it's a top-notch school. And could you kind of tell them about it? I think you're on mute.
I was on mute. How childish. FBA Sunday School. I love it. It is going on its second year, coming up in June. And Isla and I, that's my mod that's in the chat, if you're in my chat, we meet with the minis for an hour or 2 hours every Sunday, and we talk about who we are as Black Americans. I find that other cultures have the chance to do that during the week. I have nephews who are Russian and they do their Russian culture heritage thing. I have Jewish friends, they do their thing. A lot of people have time for their story. We get told we don't have a story, and that's couldn't be further from the truth. So as we've been learning, we wanted to share it with the minis. We share it with our own minis, and I just felt like it was, you can't keep saying that something's not happening and then not do something about it. So we did, and we do it every Sunday. We're not meeting for the month of May, so we can kind of revamp for this upcoming school year, but we have been doing it for a whole year now, and we can't wait to get started for next year.
Supplemental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
You got to, you guys out there with children, grandchildren, you have to kind of join this school. I mean, it's very important because we need, in a sense, to be able to have our children be able to fight C.A.I.D.S. And I'm going to talk about C.A.I.D.S. a little later. How you doing, Karen? The
Hey.
dojo of manhood. Oh, we are. Abigado.
It's 3 courses, right? So I felt like people would understand courses. And then inside the courses, we talk about a lot of different things. Practical math, that's reparations. It's all reparations talk. It's about what's going on in the news, the facts and figures, what other people are getting, how the government's spending our money. Dojo, stop that. We're best friends, and you love Dr. Winters. Anyway, languages, the way that our country is being run, there's a lot of people who don't speak English here. And I actually, maybe I'm on the alternate side of things. I think that it's really impressive when people can speak multiple languages.
Mhm.
I know that people say, "Oh, you're in America, you need to speak English," and I agree, but I also don't necessarily ride them too hard about it, because you're going out of your way to try to be understood, right? So I'm not going to be a dick about it. I know that there's people who are really, but um, we have a couple tutors for different languages, Spanish. Um, I think that I'm going to be able to talk my sister-in-law into doing Russian, but we exposed them to a couple different languages, and they picked it up really quick. So I'm really excited about doing more with that. And then the last class is our code. We used Mr. Fuller's code book, the compensatory code book with the really long name. Isla, that's her strong point. So she dives deep with the children, and for what it's worth, we have 4-year-olds who understand some things that some 40-year-olds are having a very hard time with. So I tell them all the time about some of my interactions with some of y'all online, and I am just so happy.
Shouldn't tell them about that. Don't tell them about that.
Well, I tell them I'm happy their parents have trusted them with us, because they're not going to be out here not knowing the difference between, words and how words have meanings, so we try to just make things really simple for them. Even to the, are all black people bad, or are all black people good, or are all white people bad, or are all white people good? Because children, they hear us talk about all the bad stuff and they're like, oh, I can't trust in people. And it's like, well,
Mhm.
that is true that you shouldn't blanket statement things, but we shouldn't blanket statement things. We should, look at how
Yeah.
people act and does the math, um, you know, passing on my little gems to them, making them be little Eve minions. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what I'm doing.
That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful.
Thank
But that's how you ladies think. My wife, she's always say, "Why do you generalize too much?" I said, "I'm gonna try not to. I'm gonna try not to." She said, "You generalize too much." But the point is this: is that, but see, you ladies, you like to be more specific. You like to make sure that when you're talking to the world, when you're talking to your children, and even when you're talking to us, that maybe in a sense you're more down to earth and you're more positive and more open. But I like to generalize, and
you.
and sometimes in a sense it's kind of a little difficult. But what do? And Dojo, you see what he was saying to you. You better listen. But again, I think it's very important. Tonight we were going to talk with Dewan, but Dewan he had a comedy appointment. He's a comedian, and he does comedian shows. I know most of all anybody who listens to Tariq Nasheed knows in a sense that he does a program at the museum every off and on. Oh,
Yes, at the
every so
Asian History
often.
Museum, Dewan is the man with the plan for the different events. They always seem to be sold out or packed, and everybody
Yeah.
seems to be having a good time. I get jealous there. That's way far away. That's on the other side of the world, basically.
Wow. It is far. It is far away. I haven't been to LA since the 80s. And that's a long time. Oh yes.
No,
Even
that is a long time. That's uh, depending on when in the 80s, it might be older than me, Dr. Winters.
it
But
probably is. It's older than you. Let me see when did I go? I went in what, 1980. 1980. Yeah,
yeah,
1980. When were you born?
87.
That's cool. That's good. That's good. Uh, I went in 1980, and back then, a lot of psychics was predicting that it was going to be a big wave that was going to come, and the wave was gonna submerge all of California up to Los Angeles, Las Vegas. So when I got there, I felt very uncomfortable. I was there to I was speaking at Compton. Renoka Rashidi, he had invited me there. So I came out there to speak at you know and so it was very interesting. It was very interesting. You
I
know.
like LA. I've been once. We actually went for Dewan's show. He had a live music
Oh.
show with Tashina Arnold, and it was so nice.
Yeah,
I
he's with Tashina a lot. I noticed. Aunt Tashina. I've never met her, but I know he says he gets along with her real well.
she seems very nice. I've been around her a few times, and she's some people who are in the limelight, they don't act like it, and I think that those are really cool people to be around. The person who's not like, oh, I'm on the show and you should know who I am, as
Ah,
much as they're just people who have shows. And she was real down to earth. I'm glad that Devon has a person in the industry who isn't a sister fucker or a brother fucker. Shout out to Dr. Short.
yeah.
Um, and I mean, I don't know Miss Arnold, so I guess maybe she could be, because like we've already told you guys, y'all don't know people. You don't know anybody.
You don't.
Think you
Nobody.
do. But
You
you
never.
don't. But she seems very nice. And I mean, I think she's funny. So I think he's funny. I think they make a good little matchup.
Maybe she didn't go to Diddy's parties. That's probably why. But that's right. Diddy didn't want too many women there anyway. So who knows? Who knows?
Smacking them left and right, because we have no ego over here. No, I'm just kidding. I want to talk about ego so bad, but I'm glad you started with Sunday school, because we are revamping, and this week coming up, to the parents of our children, if you're listening tonight, don't forget, it's us. It's just the parents this Sunday, so we can kind of talk about this upcoming school year, see what y'all liked, what you didn't like, what you want more of, and then we have some stuff for you guys. So make sure you come. If you're not up enrolled, you can do that. We accept students all the time. And
That's exciting.
here's the thing. I've gotten this question a lot. People say, well, I'm Jamaican. Can I come to FBA Sunday School? And the long and short answer is no. But here's what I will do. I would love to bring information that makes sense to everybody. So while I don't necessarily want the participation in real time, I do think that we can learn from each other. So any of my parents who've been asking me, come on Sunday, send me a message. I will send you a link. We can talk. I'd love to talk about what it is that you want from FBA Sunday School being not a foundational Black American. The school that I teach at, it's a Black school. And we've talked, the children have asked, like, if a white student comes, can they come? And the director, he's like, all money's green, but we do talk with the parents and let them know that I don't know what type of school you think this is, but we're not going to walk on eggshells because you are uncomfortable with the information that's being taught. And because it is a private school, you don't have to be here. And he's very
You know
uncomfortable.
what Nellie Fuller says is that they like to play both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know because I'm kind of jaded in a way in terms of how I feel about Europeans. I've had people in a sense that I would consider they may have been. I think that they were Europeans, but I really liked them, and I think they liked me a little bit. But the thing is, this is that I'm sad to say that I don't believe in a sense that a white woman or a white man can love a Black person. Now, maybe if they got together in maybe elementary or high school and they were able to keep the relationship up until when they got older and got married, maybe it could be love there. But I think in a sense that instead of love and instead of the fact that you have good sex, I think that they can pity you. They can maybe pity you. They can maybe feel sorry about you, and that may make sometimes we can get pity mixed up with love.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think they can love. They can love you.
That's
I,
interesting. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think that's very interesting, because I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I didn't think I was going to do this. I think that they can. I think that you can, because love is a state of being. It's how you are. I think that you can love whoever or whatever, but I don't know if the maths. Like, are you loving something that isn't going to benefit you? like, so to what you just said about the sympathy thing, people confuse feeling sorry for and, not wanting bad things to happen to for love. And like, if someone is, you meet someone when you're a child and then you grow up with them, you guys are familiar, y'all families know each other, you feel like there's love there because there's never been any hate or harm or anything like that. But I think when we choose the hard thing, we don't necessarily go for the easy thing that shows what matters to you. And my biggest issue with people talking about interracial relationships are the people talking about interracial relationships, but talking about one specific race. So, for example, you're in an interracial relationship, but you're talking about Black families. How? You don't have a Black family anymore. You have a mixed family. So maybe you should talk about mixed families. But people don't do that. And then sometimes they do. And then people get told that, oh, Black is Black. And if you're mixed, you're still Black. And, there's levels and it's all sorts of ideas of who is who and who should be talking about what. And at the end of the day, because we're all fighting, all the melanated people are fighting this big, nasty racism, white supremacy confusion ball. I think that choosing something that's hard means that you really do want us to still be here later. Choosing the easy thing, the interracial thing, I think is an easy thing because it means that you don't have to fight so hard for the things that aren't yours yet.
Well, how you doing, Earth Angel 1105 remix? Tom's 5. What up, though?
What up?
And Gia, what up, though? But but the thing is this: is that what I don't believe that they can love you and you can love them. I think you can think that you're in love because see, the thing is this: is that I think that is very difficult. I looked at a lot of people like I noticed that a lot of that some Black people, some Black men can make it, but it seems as though to me that many of the famous mixed children that we know about, like especially those singers Mariah Carey and what's the other girl played the piano? No, usually in a sense, from New York.
Alicia Keys.
Yeah, Alicia Keys. A lot of these people, their fathers either wasn't around or their fathers died young. And see, back in the day, I think that a lot of times when a Black man married a Black woman, a white woman, because of the fact in the sense that they were suffering from C.A.I.D.S, I think that a lot of times they died early. They died early because of that your ego can say, hey, everybody likes me. I'm that man. I'm that guy. Just like you can feel that you're that girl. But even though your ego can lie to you, and you can be feeling that I'm down, but then I think it's the pressures. It's the pressures of trying to be a man in a white world. See, when you're a Black man. See, I remember when I was younger. And this is really silly. When I found out about the history of Las Vegas. When I was younger in the 1980s, when I first went out to Vegas, I felt that Las Vegas was the only place that I could feel like I was a Black man.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I started going out to Vegas back in the 90s, 80s, it was the only place where white people said, "Can I help you, sir?"
Oh, wow.
See, because in Chicago, as you know, we're separated. Black people on the South Side, Spanish people on the Southwest side. The Jews used to live on the Southwest side, but after we got the open housing, they moved out to Skokie and all that. They used to live on the southeast side near the lake, in those beautiful high rises. Mm-hmm. But what happened in a sense is that so then we're all separated, and so it was the only place where white people would say, "Sir," and I'll be, "What the is this?" He's saying, "Sir." Yeah, I'm sir here.
There you go.
I wasn't a boy, I wasn't a boy. I was sir. And so then later I found out that Las Vegas was a place where Black people couldn't even attend. The entertainers couldn't stay in hotels in the 60s.
Oh, wow.
But again, I started going there in the 80s and 90s. And in the 70s, some of my wife, her sister had bought land out there when it was real cheap, And so then what I'm saying is this is that. How you doing, Naughty? And
Isla.
Isla, is that Isla? Yeah.
Isla.
Is that one of your friends?
That's my other teacher from Sunday school. You remember Isla?
How you doing, Isla? Isla, that's a nice name.
You're gonna love Isla. I'm gonna send Isla the link next time she can come, and you can
Okay, we can do that.
Google at her because she's beautiful.
She's beautiful. I love beautiful women, you know. But don't worry, I'm safe.
His eyes belong to another woman, Isla. He still very much wants his baby doll.
That's right. That's my baby doll. You know, and then people probably say, you know, nigga, what the hell you call somebody baby doll? That's because, see, you know, I played football. My father did construction. In our world, everything's about strength, you know. And my wife, she usually averaged somewhere between, you know, 100 and 100 and throughout our marriage, 135 maybe to 150. And so, I mean, damn, I could pick that shit up in the air. What the hell is 150, 160?
My
See, when
hey.
I couldn't pick her up, I knew, damn, I'm old. You see, that's why I call her my baby doll, because I could grab her, hold her, and just hug her and just feel so good. Anyway, that's another story.
Game, fellas. You should pay. Drop something on Dr. Winter's Cash App right now for the game that he just dropped on y'all, because you didn't deserve that.
But see, the point is this: is that these guys today they belong to the manosphere, and their ego has destroyed them. You know, like I tell you, when I keep bringing up, you know, a couple of weeks ago when I went out with my son and his wife, you know, my daughter, and because I had 5 boys and 1 girl, so whoever they married, those are my daughters. And so then we were eating. They took me out. They were buying me a nice meal, so I had to be nice, you know. And so then she said, look. I said, yeah, that's my big head son. Yeah, look. She said, look at him. And you know, he's sitting over there looking, smiling. She said, see how contented it is? He's look how contented he is. I said, yeah, he is. She said, that's me. I said, oh, what can I say? What can I say, girl? And see, that's the problem today is that the young men today, they don't understand. They keep talking about what does a woman bring to the table. Well, know how to bring shit to the table. Because see, if you got game, what that woman brings to the table, it's happiness, contentment. See, the thing is this, is that when you had to go out in the world and you had to deal with those microaggressions that you deal with in terms of interacting with white people. And then when you come home and you can have somebody to talk to, it is so wonderful. And the thing is this, is that the thing that I think is that I miss most, you know, because I'm old, but the thing that I miss most about my wife is just those conversations, you know, just the conversations, being together. And I think you brought up that sometimes you and your man, sometimes you guys are talking. And the thing is this, is that, and then a lot of people say, aha, shut up, you know. Oh, wow. You made somebody send me a Cash App. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny. I can always use it. So then I think about this whole idea that it's so much out there to do. But see, we forget because often we don't have time for our woman or time for our man. And then a lot of women will say, you know, why are people always telling me to shut up? Or saying I talk too much. That's because you're not their woman. And because you're not their woman, you don't have to. I said intuitively. You know, and most women, in a sense, they understand in a sense that okay, I'm going to have sex with you. But see, the bargain is that if I have sex with you, your ass better listen after we've had sex. See, I'm gonna be a little tired, but I want to talk now, baby. Don't be turning over going to sleep. I'm gonna whip your Eve. You better stop. Stop messing with the damn. Stop messing with my mic. I'm just.
Look at that black man.
Stop. Family. Eve won't let me tell you what I want to say. Hey.
Put us boogie.
You know, but the thing is this, is that I feel sorry for people. You know, I'm glad that my son, he found a good wife. All my kids, I think they got pretty good wives. But the thing is this is that it's, the people nowadays, looking for a wife, looking for a husband, it's kind of difficult. I'll admit one of my, I'm what, three of them? I think three of them was divorced and they got married again. So, I mean, hey, there's hope. I know you said you were divorced once and you got married. So there's hope, but the thing is this is that, but what you want to do is that you want to in a sense be able to really become friends. And see, this is a thing that hurt people. Like I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I put this guy in the friend zone," and I'll admit, once you get in the friend zone, don't think you're going to get intimate with that girl. You're not getting intimate with that girl, but do you want to be intimate with
you
her?
want to be, right?
Do you want to be intimate after a while? Hell no, because sometimes a friendship is better because sometimes, as I said, love is a state of mind. You said love is a state of being, but so 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 somehow we're going to meet. Somehow we're going to come together.
It does, Dr. Winters, because state of mind, you can't be without your mind, right? Your being has a mind. It is connected. It's leveled though. Your mind up here, your being all of it. And I agree that it is very trying for someone to say that interracial relationships are love based as much as they might be attention based or survival based or ego based, but people don't like having tough conversations as much as they want to just say that, they love this person, they've loved this person. I've met so many Black men who are with white or non-Black women, and they say that if they knew what they knew now before they got with her, then they would have never got with her. But to me, knowing what you know now would change how you feel about her, because if you would have never got with her, then
you wouldn't have never known.
Oh yeah, that too. And real quick, let me go back to Dojo in the chat. Women don't need to bring anything to the table. He's been wanting to get on you about this. I see the conversation online about be his peace, and women need to be his peace. And then you tell me about your son and your daughter-in-law, and she's all strutting her feathers because she did that, and she's very proud of being able to make her man content. And I think that is what we bring to the table. If you guys are out here fighting battles that we have no idea about, because you're Black men in America, and not that Black women don't fight battles or that we're not having obstacles or anything, but the man being the protective class and the women being the support system, I think that y'all's battles are a little bit more rough. And as such, I think that when you come home, if there's someone at home for you, then it should be a time for debriefing, a time for releasing, relaxing. It shouldn't be that you did all this fighting out there and then you came home to your safe space and you still had to fight. But in real time, Black women are fighting all this stuff too, and we're coming home and we're wanting to release, but maybe he doesn't want to release how we want to release. The things that we're into start deviating. Maybe he likes playing video games and you like watching shows, or he likes watching sports and you like painting or something. I don't know. And then you feel like, well, we're not ever going to meet anywhere. And, my piece is my gaming, my this, my that, and her piece is there. And then it's not our piece together in our home. To me, that's kind of strange, because if you live together, that's y'all's safe space. You've decided that this person here, we can't go nuclear because we live here. We're going to go nuclear out there, but home can't be a battleground, because where are we going to recoup? You know, how
You
do
gotta
we
have a safe place.
gotta have a safe space?
The Dogo man had said, "Why the hell don't I have peace in my life without a woman? What am I, a wild bull? I don't
Yes,
know if
you're
you're a
allowed.
wild bull, but the thing is, this is that I think what it is that it's interesting. Don't get it twisted now. Don't get it twisted now. It's very difficult. It's very hard for some men to feel to be able to talk to a black woman because black women always carry a frown. I like to go around and talk to people. Say, put a smile on your face. Stop it. Just because you're in the street, I'm old. I'm not going to try to jump on you. And you're a very pretty woman. So smile, smile, show me that smile. So they'll smile for me. But most sisters have a face, have a kind of frown on their face, but they're out in the street, they're out in the world. And I don't know what it is, but that's them. But the point is this is that I keep hearing these people on the internet and they keep saying the black women, they act so masculine. I don't see it. I've always seen a woman as being soft, cuddly, and that's just it's softness. But I don't understand how a lot of the younger men today, none of my sons, but how the younger men today, they see women as being masculine just because you want to have a job. I mean, damn, I heard my mama tell my sisters, you can't trust a man. You better get out there and get a job. And so then you got to be able to take care of yourself because a man might not be there. And so
Right.
I understand, see when you go to college, your parents tell you if you're a girl, go and try to get your education and get a job. When white girls go to college, and I've heard this, how you doing, Nia Muhammad? I've heard this when I talk to when I used to talk to people or TV shows. White women, they go to college to find a husband.
My
That's
husband.
why they hang around the track and all that type of stuff. And they I guess their mothers teach them from 4 years old how to perform oral sex. And that's how they get these guys. I'm not going to tell a lie. I'm not going to be no bullshit out here.
We don't cap on this app.
Well, a lot of sisters, they're trying to catch it with the white girls, but the brothers prefer these white girls because they're so nasty. Somebody in a sense, because see, the beauty of a white girl is that she'll let you fuck them over and you can treat her bad. And as long as you bring home the money, you're okay. But
Yeah.
because she's been conditioned. She's
Yeah.
been conditioned through her environment. I'm not trying to be racist, but
No,
I'm
you're
just saying
not. That's the feminism argument. That's why I understand feminism from white women. What I don't understand is how they got black women on their side because we didn't have that fight with our man. I think that I've talked to you about this before. I personally think it's because they used to eat each other, because if you used to eat her,
they did.
you wouldn't care about her. And then, man, you just brought up a really good point about soft and cuddly women. I think that masculine men make the women around them feel comfortable enough to be soft, dainty, and vulnerable. But if you're out here like a little beta bitch, then the women around you might not feel safe. Maybe they have to be all, tough because they don't know if you're gonna run if some shit's about to go down. Like
Your mother told him that. Your mother told him that. See, but I used to walk around. I used to walk around with my wife, and I felt if you've ever seen Conan the Barbarian, you know. But see, the whole point of this is that maybe because I met my wife when we were teenagers, so I don't have the idea of how my sons on the other hand, they got married later in life than me, so they have a different worldview. But the point is this is that so I've always seen a woman as being soft, a woman as being beautiful, a woman in a sense as being in a sense a partner, and hopefully a guide sometimes. And the only reason I saw my woman my baby as a guide is because I would fuck up so much, and see, hell yeah, I'm a man. There, my daddy taught me three things. Number one, don't come home at the same time. Number two,
don't
don't
tell
tell,
her how much you make.
don't tell your wife how much you make. You got that right. And number three, just fuck up every now and then, just so you can keep her off. And so that's what I learned, and he was absolutely correct. But I learned over the years that if I had to ask my wife something, then I shouldn't do it. You see, because yeah, I did. I learned it after I got hit in the head. Bam, bam, bam.
Oh man.
Because see, we have big egos. We're a man. Come on now. And then you make the ego get even bigger. You know how women know how to make a man get a big ego, and that's just the way it is. I was listening to these people because I was a little Well, I get a little upset every time they have the basketball draft and they have the football draft, especially the
The
basketball
white
draft,
girl with them.
because they always got a white girl next to them,
Mhm.
and I know that that white girl be plotting, and then I notice these same brothers when they ain't got no money, they gone, they gone. They
Yep.
supposed to be so submissive, so feminine, you
Mhm.
know. And Michael Strahan, his wife after they broke up, she began gay and looking for vagina like he was. So I mean, the whole point is this is that. So people are people. People are people. I believe.
She
But
could have
the
stayed with him, and they could have had some fun.
Well, the whole point maybe they could have, but the thing is, this is that it's people they can be freaky, and that's what they want to do. That's fine. But the point is, this is that I wanted a traditional relationship. I wanted, in a sense, to be able to have a friend because see, the thing is, this is that it's hard to have a friend. It's hard to have a friend now, because see, most of the time we go through life, and I'll never forget. I was teaching at county jail, and so we used to have some volunteers. So one of the volunteers, this white woman, she said, I love working here on the weekend, but I don't want to find any new friends. I said, why you don't want to find new friends? I said, because as you get older, some of your friends die, some of your friends move away. So I said, it looks as though you would want to. She said, I just want my own friends. And so I imagine that today, if some of her friends are dead and she's still alive, that she's a very lonely person. See, it's one thing to be alone, and everybody in the sense is sometimes going to be feeling lonely, but you don't want to feel entirely in a sense alone, but you're going to feel lonely sometimes, and you can feel lonely even though you have a good husband or a good wife. Sometimes you can feel lonely, but the point is this is that you never feel alone. You should never feel alone.
That's that's rough because in real time, like we've talked, I think that the air of mystery that women have about ourselves when we have our little either bird brain thoughts or women, just butterfly activity going on up there. I don't necessarily want to tell him all of my thoughts, but he is my friend, and I love that we have conversations and nobody knows what the fuck we're talking about. We have
Mhm.
inside jokes.
And it's silly as hell.
Yeah,
Silly as hell.
he is so silly. It's even more funny because I find that you get extra goofy with your person. You might not be silly, but with your person, you start letting your hair down a little bit. You get comfortable. You start doing things that you didn't do, and this peace, this contentment that your daughter-in-law brought to your son. I think that's like our superpower, because even though we're still dealing with all that shit, we can still provide
Yeah.
some magic in the home, and it's also weird because we don't want to judge our friends, like me and you've talked about before. You start learning stuff about your friends and it's like, damn, I don't even know if I want to be friends with this person anymore. I've seen white people go at each other's heads when they find out that they're a Trump supporter or that they're a Biden supporter. Like, white people say that they don't like each other, and they're really, I can't
Yeah.
believe that you would vote for Trump, or I can't believe that you would want Biden, like, and they're very serious, but playing both sides of the argument, and
Yeah.
having control over the entire argument is unfair anyway. So, us looking at it, it's like, well, yeah, y'all do that over there. We got our own problems over here, and inside of our own problems, we've been resilient and industrious, and we've been able to make it to 2024 when the odds are stacked against us. So something to be said about winning. Um, and I think it's directly related to how we feel about ourselves, and then how people are telling us to feel about ourselves.
Yeah.
We're told not to have an ego, and we're told to be very humble.
Right.
And I, not that that's wrong or that you shouldn't have that skill, is there's going to be somebody better than you. You're not always going to win, but when you win, you should enjoy it.
You
Now,
should.
I've had a team, one of my basketball teams, they went out there and they wiped the court with those girls. And it was so bad, but it was so good. And and they, they were like, should we slow down? And I'm like, I don't know, when you're
Hell
getting
no.
a chance to run the board like this, run the board, you know? And they felt real good about it, and the other team felt real bad about it. But if you ain't first, you're last, and maybe it'll make you work harder next time, because there is going to be someone better than you. And if you don't work to beat the best, then you're going to be mediocre. And I don't know why people go do competition or competitive sports if you just want to be mediocre.
Right.
What is that? Why
You
don't you
need to
want to be
win.
the best? Like, right. Why don't you want to win? But I
You know,
think it's conditioned.
you
Society's
know,
this.
like when I played football back in high school, especially high school, there's always you always got a captain or a co-captain that wants to cry every time you lose, and then they'll turn around at you and say, you're not crying." I say, "Well, I kicked much ass out there. I know I got all these tackles." At the end of the season, they put me in the Sun Times that Clyde Winters at DuSable High School, he did X, Y, Z. When I got to college, and I'd look at the Sunday newspaper. Clyde Winters knocked down a pass. When we was playing against Billy White Shoes. You know, Ahmed Rashad. Y'all wouldn't know them. He played back before you guys were born. But when I knocked down a couple of passes, I mean, you feel good because it. I'm sorry to say, it is about winning. It is about winning. It is about winning. You see, but the only way you can win is to have confidence. I want to do this slide presentation real
Yes.
quick. So let's
Yes, get your notebooks out, you guys. This is a learning opportunity.
okay. C.A.I.D.S. C.A.I.D.S is culturally acquired immune identity deficiency syndrome. Originally C.A.I.D.S was just culturally acquired immune deficiency syndrome. But one of my a woman in my Patreon, Joan Caramonte, she brought the fact that you not only, in a sense, lose your identity, you also you also lose your immunity to whiteness. So let's get started. White supremacy is a pandemic. Black History Gems is a weekly Black History is a black talk to fight the white supremacy pandemic that causes C.A.I.D.S. This white supremacy pandemic has been in existence for the past 200 years in the form of colonialism, Jim Crowism, and apartheid. It is a virulent disease that causes mental illness, resulting from psychological harm, depression, empty self-esteem, and in extreme cases, produces a feeling of hopelessness, empty self-esteem, and confusion. This is very important because, see, it's very hard. It's very hard to have an intact ego when you feel, in a sense, that you're being oppressed, when you feel that you're not being heard, when you feel, in the sense, that you're lost. And see, this is what happens when you're being exposed to this pandemic. Yes, white supremacy creates a pandemic, and that pandemic which white supremacy creates is, in a sense, C.A.I.D.S. I was born, contradictions of life living under worldwide white supremacy. I was born into a racist system of worldwide white supremacy, a world in which a minority population would control almost my very being. If I didn't know that God, my creator, is Lord of the universe, I'd be out of it. Having said this, I know my life is one of contradictions. Contradictions that remained unexplained until I learned from Nellie Fuller, we are prisoners of war. When you look at this Janus figure, you see these two faces. And W.B. Du Bois, he talks about, in a sense, this double consciousness. And yes, it is. We live in two worlds and we create two experiences. And those experiences that we create is an experience or a way of living when we're at home or when we're around our people. And we act a different way when we go downtown and we are dealing with white people who are on the job, and we feel, in the sense that now I got to speak a little bit more. I got to speak a little bit more intelligent. I got to enunciate all the words. I got to. But then back in the 50s, when we were down south, it was something different. You wasn't supposed to be eloquent. When you started talking to a white man, he's like, "Ya's gonna get this done, ya's dog." And he talked like that out in the street. But when we got home, the rain in Spain lands mainly on the plains. The European promotion of white supremacy caused my double consciousness. White supremacy affects my choices. Subconsciously, it decided for me who I would recognize as beautiful. White supremacy would affect my choices subconsciously. It decided who I would recognize as a symbolic representation of mother. Yes, yes, yes. These choices were made for me through the constant hammering into my mind that whites were supreme via the media's most powerful tools of persuasion: school, books, movies, and TV. Yes, you know. The letters C.A.I.D.S means culturally acquired immune identity deficiency syndrome. C.A.I.D.S has caused much destruction in the African American community. C.A.I.D.S is the psychological equivalent to the AIDS virus. This is an infectious mental illness that causes the individual to lose his or her immunity to white, second frequency mental domination of their mind, and loss of identity. As noted by Joan Coromonte, a member of my Patreon, as a proud Black man or woman, due to acceptance of white supremacist tenets that Black historical and cultural values must be rejected in favor of feelings of inferiority, empty self-esteem, and being subservient to Caucasian cultural and historical values that manifest to harm African and Black people generally. Yes, yes, yes. That's why we find these brothers. And these brothers, they get a little money. They get a little money. They go to college. They have this white girl playing on their ego. Oh, you're just so great. You're going to be this. You're going to be that. Oh, you're just my everything. I just love. And then they give you some crazy sex. And they may do all type of freaky things that you only imagine, but they'll do it, just so they can hook you. And so you become very confused, and you have questions about society. But at the same time, you feel that if I can get that white woman, if I can get that white man, I'm somebody. Because see, I'm lost if I'm Black, because white supremacy says that Black ain't right, Black is dead, Black is deaf. And so what happens is that you lose the ability. You see, you lose the ability to be able to keep your Black identity. You become, in a sense, you lose your immunity to whiteness, and that leads you down a path that leads to your destruction. Look at these Black people. They start, in a sense, to think, I'm just as good as a white man. That's why I want my white woman by my side. The minute you start thinking that you're just as good as a white man, the minute that you start thinking you're just as good as a white woman, and if only you could get that white partner, you'll be okay, you're dead. You're going to lose. Because, see, you live in a white supremacist society. Because you live in a white supremacist society, that society teaches that you are superior to white folks. If you weren't superior to white folks, they wouldn't have white supremacy. They wouldn't provide other white people with the privileges. They wouldn't give them, in a sense, $1 million in whiteness. In whiteness. Because it's that whiteness that gives them privilege. So then if you imagine that you're just as good as a white person, you're going to lose. And you can't help but losing because they feel you're superior to him. And so by you, in a sense, thinking that you're as good as them, then they know that you're that nigga that they should push down. They know that you're that nigga that they should kick in the ass. They know that you're that nigga that they can control. To fight C.A.I.D.S, you must stay Black first. Be one through acceptance of your African ancestry and true knowledge of your history. Yes, yes, yes. It's like Blackness is falling from the sky. Blackness is coming down. Blackness is hitting you. And you're confused because you don't know what the hell to do. Instead of you understanding that you had to fight C.A.I.D.S, culturally acquired identity immune deficiency syndrome, you think just give me that white woman. Give me that white man and I'll be safe. But you won't be safe. There's no way you can be safe because you're going to always be hunted by that idea that you're Black. And the only way that you can have an intact ego, the only way that you can feel good about yourself, the only way that you can feel that you can be successful, the only way that you can feel that you have the self-esteem to be able to push on and to fight in this man's world, you have to love you. You have to know you. You have to have a Black identity. C.A.I.D.S has caused much destruction in the African and Black community. It is the psychological equivalent of AIDS virus. The aim of knowing your history is to strengthen your cultural awareness of Black and African people so they can have the self-confidence to fight C.A.I.D.S. Afrocentrism is the ideational code blacks can use to conceptualize the universe in which they live and interact. Culture can be defined as man's learned and accumulated social experiences, including man's art, belief, customs, knowledge, law, and morals that are transmitted and shared by a social group in general. Culture refers to a system of learned ideas, not what we do or make. Very important to understand that, you see? Very important to understand that, you know. We don't really understand. We don't really understand in a sense as that. We take it for granted that that the culture that we live in a sense, is a white culture. We take it for granted that we're disadvantaged, and we're disadvantaged because we speak English, and because we speak English, we've lost all of our culture or all of our identity, and that's false. You see, that's false because American culture is black culture. The music, the food they eat. You see, American culture is the inventiveness and creativity of black people. Black people, it was a black man made the telephone work. It was a black man that made the light bulb work. It was a black man in a sense that made it so we can use and read and connect with each other on the internet. You didn't know that, did you? You thought it was Jobs and some of them other people in Microsoft. Hell no, they didn't do it. It was a brother did it. It was a brother who made the first laptop. Yes, at Western Electric, these brothers was making all type of inventions. You see, we don't get the money off of it, but we did it. We made the transistor, and the transistors in every invention. Yes, part of our culture is not the music, not just the food, but it's the inventions that we make. You
That's
see,
right.
but we don't see in a sense the truth. We don't see in a sense our creativity because all we're thinking about the fact is that the white man say we live in Chicago and those niggas in Chicago, they killing each other every weekend. You know, see, because you have to understand though, C.A.I.D.S has caused so much destruction that the only way in the sense that we can find freedom, the only way in the sense that we can really know who we are, where we're going, is we have to deal with our children. That's why when Eve is doing this program, when Eve is having this summer school, when Eve is having this Sunday school, you guys need to send your children there because the only way we can save our children from the C.A.I.D.S pandemic, the C.A.I.D.S virus, is to allow them to know about themselves. Yes, yes. You know, what did Eve tell you? That sometimes the kids say, can a white person come to our school? And then you say, well, they could, but see, then you'd be afraid. See, white people, black people always like to accommodate whites, and so if you had an Afrocentric program and white people was involved, well, you wouldn't want to talk about how terrible slavery was. You wouldn't want to talk about the fact that white men was sometimes raping black women, and that those black women would put glass in their food, or that those black women after they would rape would burn the house down, burn the plantation mansion down. You see, you wouldn't want them to hear about that stuff. You wouldn't want them to know in the sense that on every plantation, it was when you entered the plantation, it was a black man's head hanging from a tree, rotting, or on a pike, rotting, to let you know that you were going to a place of terror. No, you see. And so even though in a sense C.A.I.D.S has caused this much destruction, you can find love when you fight C.A.I.D.S. You find love, the man and that woman can come together. And the reason they can come together is because the fact in the sense they can find a wholeness. Because they can be with somebody who understands what they're going through. You see? You need somebody who can understand what you're going through. And so those brothers, when they marry these white women, then they get in the white world, and then they may have a college degree, or they may have, in a sense, a skill in basketball, football, but sooner or later you reach a point where you're not making that money, and when you're not making that money, that white woman is going to leave you. Sister, I don't care how much you feel that you can do all type of freaky sex that you're gonna keep that white man. He might reach a point where he's gonna get some hat and leave you.
Or chop you up.
Well, they do that too, but those on usually on the first date.
Sorry,
Several things like that.
y'all.
So the most important thing is that the aim of knowing your history is to strengthen your cultural awareness of Black and African people so they can have self-confidence to fight C.A.I.D.S. That's how you can get a feeling of self-esteem. That's how you can have an intact ego where you not only feel good about yourself, but you're ready in a sense to be humble and also share the knowledge with others. And this is very important, because see, our problem our problem is that we fail often to be respectful. We fail often to really, in a sense, respect people and allow them to show who we are. We are a true African people, but the only way that we can move forward is that we have to, in a sense, we have to do things that are positive. The Dojo of Manhood says, he said, anyone who thinks white women are more freaky are just stupid. A Black woman, really any woman, will do any freaky thing you want if she sees you valuable enough. That's true. That's true. If that's what you want. But I will tell you this. Thing is, this is that it's really crazy. It's crazy out there. It's crazy out there because most people in this sense don't understand. You see, don't understand that it's not so much about today, it's what's going to happen in the future. See, and in the future, in a sense, your mate is going to be sick. Your mate is not always going to look sexy. Your mate is not always going to feel sexy. If after your wife has a couple of babies, you're not having sex every night, but maybe you will. But most of the time, those babies are going to take your place. I'm not going to tell a lie. Since we're adults, I'm not going to tell a lie.
No capping on this app, Dr. Winters.
I'm a handicap. I'm not going to tell a lie. When my wife, when after a while she say, "Damn, Clyde, I'm tired of getting up sitting in the rocking chair," because when the babies wake up around 3-4 o'clock in the day, in the middle of the night, and the mom has to get up and feed them, and usually they sit in a rocking chair, and but as my wife got older, she said, "Damn, I'm not sitting up in no rocking chair. The baby gonna sleep in the bed with us." No, hell, the baby's over there getting milk. What about me? What about me?
It's not your taste. No, that's too
That's
funny.
right. See, slap it. I'm getting better. Eve, just Eve, you're so mean.
I'm actually on your side of things with that. I very much did not like I don't like sharing my bed. That's in the whole house because my minis don't have any understanding of my privacy in the bathroom. I think we've talked about this before. They'll just, if they need something, it doesn't matter. And the way that they've locked themselves in all sorts of different rooms with doors, we probably don't have any doors upstairs that lock anymore anyway. So there's that. They just come in. But my bed, that's my space. And I am very uncompromising about that. Unless they're feeling that if they don't feel good, then I'm like, yeah, come on. But if they're healthy, no. Bad dreams, no. We'll talk about it. Take your ass back to bed. And you got school in the morning and you thirsty, get you some water,
That's
back
good.
to bed.
That's good.
Your own bed.
You're good. You're good because my wife was the type of person that a lot of times, in the sense, is that, I come home and it'll be an evening and they'll be all in the bed, talking and communicating. And because a lot of times I know even when I was younger, when I would go visit my grandma, the first thing I want to do, I'm what, 16, 15, 16 years old. I want to go lay on her bed. It's just something about grandma and mama's
more
bed.
comfortable. And the minis have told us that our bed is more comfortable than their bed, but we have a California king. It is more comfortable than your twin size mattress. It is. But when you are big and bad and you want to spend lots and lots of money on your bed, you can do that. For now, you have adequate sleeping arrangements. And, I think that you guys would be more comfortable not having to pile up on me. But like you just said, no, I've had those nights where it's just been easier, where because of how young they were, the twins, there's two of them. So two of the same little baby. One of them might sneak in the bed. And if if Bob is not home, then and I'm asleep, well then the other one might sneak in the bed. And then another one might sneak in the bed. And then I might roll over and it's 5 in the bed. And the bed's so big I didn't really know as much as when I rolled over, and I can't really roll over anymore, but I'll just go back to sleep in my little spot. And when Baba comes home and he's got to lift everybody up and take them
back.
I've been told that I'm not allowed to let them fall asleep like that, or I got to wake up and carry them to the room. And most days I've already done my workout, so no, nope. Y'all got to get in bed because I'm not picking you up and I'm not taking you in the room.
Yeah, I saw your video when you was lifting weights. Reminded me of my football days. Okay, guys, you better watch out because Just Steve probably knows jujitsu.
I need to do some sort of self-defense. Did you know that there's a kidnappable range? You know, like if you're under a certain height and under a certain weight,
really,
they can just pick you up. Like you were just talking about your wife. You can get picked up and hauled off, and I'm not allowed to go running at certain times if I'm not super strapped up and with the dog. Like I can't just run with my protection. I also have to have the dog because, you know, it's
well, you're a commodity. You know, you're Black and you're a commodity, and they still have they kidnap a lot of women. Plus, they you know, I even read somewhere where they have an should I say, yeah, I even read somewhere where they have an interstellar slave trade now.
What's
Interstellar? Okay, well, according to some people, you know, the Nazis, they hooked up with the people in the center of the earth. You know, see, and the people. Oh yeah, the people in the center of the earth. The just like the people who fly the flying saucers. Those are some little niggas. We call them pygmies. Anu, you're laughing. I know you're laughing.
I know the pygmies and the Anu. I listen to your Thursday.
They're flying. They live in the center of the earth, and so what they do in a sense is that. So what they do is that they wear a gray uniform, but they always say that they're brown. If you look at this movie, it's several movies. Most of the time they don't really talk about, but anyway, in a sense, because of the fact that they're there, but they're cowards. There's some very cowardly people. Y'all know are cowards, and you know we've been kicking their ass so long that that's why they ran into the center of the earth to get away from us.
To get away from us, yeah. I get it.
You know, because white people, they pushed them up into the Arctic. But again, in a sense, and so they do that little thing, but it's, you know, because I did in a video on the Egyptians and I showed how in the, I think it's the Abydos temple, they got in their pictures of
the spaceships.
Of spaceships. Yeah. You know, so then, so again, in a sense, and we know now, I know, what's his name? I know now they found the pyramid on Mars. They found the image of the black guy on Mars and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Then they found, you know. But the thing is, this is that we're not going out of space. You know, we got to stay here. But I know a lot of times if you're out, you know, like if you're a woman, you shouldn't want to park your car, you know, far away from the stores. You shouldn't want to park your car next to vans. You shouldn't want SUVs. You know, and vans especially because they can just if like you, they can just pick you up and
knock you into the drive away. I watched this woman. She fought back, you know, and everybody's Ring app. You know, I don't like so much surveillance, but I like I do like it. I don't like it, but I do like it because in real time, everybody's Ring app was watching this woman get taken. But nobody was there to do anything. So everybody gets home and, you know, they're looking at their footage from the day and it's like, oh shit, this woman just got kidnapped. But she got kidnapped. It was a successful taking and, you know, all this surveillance and nothing. So we have to walk around safely. We have to be mindful of our surroundings. That's why you see so many resting bitch face Black women, because, you know, it's so dangerous to be so happy.
Smiling.
It's dangerous. I just saw this video. The man poured milk on this chick's head because supposedly she didn't speak to him. I didn't see that before, so I don't really know if that's really what happened, but it was really strange because I've seen worse. I mean, she had milk poured. I've seen people throw acid on women, for saying no. And okay,
Therese says those are the tethers. So I don't know about that though.
no, black American men are not abusive like that.
Some of them can be a bitch too.
They can, but I think that our abuse and their abuse, when you come from a place where they're chopping people's heads off and hands off, and then you come over to where we are and Black women can talk back, we can do this and not have to worry about that head rolling off my neck. That is the stakes are a little bit different, right?
It does sometimes seem like the foreign Black women, they do look like they're ready to marry those zaddies, and those zaddies, cut them up, eat them up. So many of those people out there.
They do, and I think that it's C.A.I.D.S, like you talked about. It's not knowing who you are. It's having an overinflated sense of self. So people like to talk about narcissism all the time. That's one of those big words that I think people don't use the right way, or they learned it once and it's like, oh yes, everybody's a narcissist. And while I think a lot of people have narcissistic tendencies, it doesn't make them a narcissist. But when we have empathy, sympathy, when we're humanizing, we don't succumb to the narcissistic tendencies because we can kind of see ourselves and other people and try not to act like a total dick. But these people who aren't from here, they get told that they've got this culture, that they have this importance, and they're such an old people. They come from the motherland continent, or even people from the islands, because their story is not as long. But I think that our story here is longer. And I just use the damn flag. Like, our flag is older than everybody else's flag, or our establishment of the country is older than everybody else. So while you might have been in the Sudanese region for 1,000 years, y'all are not on your family's land either. Y'all have been moved around and shuffled and pushed. And
yeah, but see, that's because the fact is that you have to understand that we're supermen and superwomen, and I'm not joking. I'm serious.
I wasn't laughing. I was smiling because I like that. Continue.
Because see, we went through an ethnogenesis. Because see, what happened is that on the plantation, in the early 1600s, the Europeans encouraged the Aboriginal Black Indians to fight each other, and then whoever lost the fight, then those Black people would sell those Black people to the white people to work on the plantations. That's why we had slavery throughout the 13 colonies up in the north, everywhere. Okay, this began to occur in the 1600s. In 1650, Oliver Cromwell, he was a Protestant, and so he decided he's going to get rid of all the nigger Catholics in Ireland. That's why a lot of times you look at these pictures of the Irish, and you see these, and they used to talk about, and they show these Moors. No, that's because they were Black. And so in between 1630 and 1660, Oliver Cromwell, he said 300 Black Irish in the chattel slavery on the plantation, And when they were on the plantation, that's why in a sense, when you look at the Dawes rolls, you'll see a lot of Cherokee and a name McLeod, Winters, Williams, because the fact in the sense is that those Black Aboriginals and Black Irish, they were mating. Okay. Then beginning in 1660.
So they told us that those were the slave owners' last names, Dr. Winters.
I know that's what they said, but then if you look at it, it's like this. There's Thomas Jefferson. And who is Thomas Jefferson raping? Sally Hemings, I think it was. Right. How the hell, I hope I'm right, because I get them mixed up.
No, you're right. Yeah.
And so how the hell did she have the name Sally Hemings if we was all named off of these
Oh,
off of our masters.
so
You
she'd
see,
be Sally Jefferson, right?
that's right. She should have been Sally Jefferson.
Oh, snap. That's excellent.
Yeah, but see, that's because the fact is this: we forgot the white man did not want you to have his name. He didn't want you to have his name. He didn't want you to have his name.
We
Okay,
knew.
so then, so between 1600, 1619 and 1640, 1660, it was the Aboriginal blacks and the Black Irish mating. Then in 1660, after Bacon's rebellion, then they stopped giving Africans, the Negroes. They called Africans Negroes, no matter what country you came from. They stopped giving the Negroes indentured, and they made them chattel slaves. So we had three groups on the plantation: the Aboriginals, blacks, the Black Irish, and the Sub-Saharan Africans. And these Sub-Saharan Africans, they came from different places along on the West Coast. And so what happened is that made us in a sense the new Egyptians. That gave us in a sense through an ethnogenesis. That means a combination of all these ethnic groups in a sense. That meant that we were bringing the knowledge. We already have 300,000 years of knowledge as being in a sense, the first people that were created. Then you had the knowledge of being an Aboriginal Indian. Then you had the knowledge of being an Irishman. And remember in a sense, London Bridge, the Tower of London, that was built by black architects. Black architects built that stuff. See, you've been taught that the white man did that. No, they didn't. So you had all the knowledge that those black Irish had on the plantation while they was picking cotton, picking tobacco, picking rice. Then you include the Africans who brought the knowledge from the old country, from Africa here. So that's why we're supermen today. Have you ever wondered why nobody can compete with foundational Black Americans? Why our music, our science, everything we do? Because the fact is that we carry all that genetic material.
I had never thought about it like that. And every time you break down ethnogenesis, I think about Tariq, because people use Foundational Black American, and then you go to the Foundational Black American website, and me and Isla have done this. We've shown it to the minis. We tell them that, the Black American experience is an amalgamated group of three. And, we talk about the Black European, the Black Native people, and the Black continental African. And they're always amazed that it's not just one group that made us. And then talking to you, and you're telling us that we're the new Egyptians, and
we are.
Kemethi who called themselves Black, and then Black Americans are the only people who call themselves Black. I can see a connection there. I don't know if the land is Black as much as we got a lot of concrete here, so maybe there's that. And the reason why I think that we've been able to get to Superman, Superwoman status is because we haven't stopped fighting. Maybe it is because of the ethnogenesis that gives us all of these memories. Because remember, we talked before about reincarnation and how many times we've been here and energy doesn't really go anywhere. So
first law of thermodynamics.
Yeah. If that's the case, then you really can pick up an epigenetic memory from a millennia ago, or like myself. I've never farmed up until I started farming, but when I did it, it felt like something I'd done before, and I'd never done it before. And my mom didn't do it. And I want to say that her mom didn't do it, but her grandma might have done it. So that would be as far away from the soil that I would be. But in real time, I knew how to do stuff that I'd never done before. And I hadn't looked it up, but just experimenting. Let me just see if this works. And I like to do that because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And then the internet's here to be like a calculator. You can kind of do your math in pencil and then check it on the calculator. But I like that our story is complex because it's the melt. When I was in school, I know I'm kind of all over the place. When I was in school, they told us that America was a melting pot. I went to a private school. There wasn't a lot of Black kids, and they told us that America's a melting pot, and it's a bunch of different people, and we're all supposed to be Americans, and it's cool that we're all different because we're all American. But in real time, that couldn't be further from the truth. The melting
Correct.
pot would be the Black American is the melting pot. And then from there, everybody's trying to eat. And I get it, but I think that we might need to reserve the food for the worthy, and let some of these other people starve, because as it stands, we've been starving for attention. So people get hung up on ego. They have zero self-esteem because they're told to put everybody else first. This melting pot that they want us to accept doesn't even include us when you start talking to them. And it's no wonder that our people are in the rut that they've been in for so long. And I think it's something that we can fix very easily if they tune into conversations like this. We get to smack them with a reality check, or have an uncomfortable conversation, with me on Fridays or with me on Monday with Marie. But I'm glad you talked about C.A.I.D.S because people can go back and take notes. A lot of the information that y'all know from other people has come from him. And he's not out here like, I did this, as much as he's just like, look, niggas, do you get it? And then, okay, he didn't say that. I said that. So Dr. Winter's son, whatever your name is, whichever one of you is going to be mad that he cussed, he didn't cuss. That was me. Be mad at me.
He said I can say any word except don't say PUSSY.
Okay,
Don't say, no, I have a PhD, a real PhD, so don't say that word. But I said, that's the first word I learned how to spell in kindergarten because I saw it on the wall and I saw it in the bathroom. And I asked my mama, what's that? And she slapped me. Boy, what do you ask me about that? But damn, I just saw the word. But Tia says we are the only true Americans. And we are the true Americans because, see, yes, they taught us that this was a melting pot. But the only thing that we never thought about, and I think about this, Eve, we never thought about the fact is that when these people came over here, instead of them trying to create a culture, they wanted to recreate over here the culture they had in Europe. They used to do their dances, they used to do their music. That's why American culture became our culture. Because the whites, when they came over here, they wanted to keep practicing the culture they had over there. See, that's why they never invented a culture for white folks. That's why the culture was us. The food they ate, we did all the cooking.
Mm-hmm.
We did the cooking, so that's why it's soul food. That's why it's fried chicken and macaroni and cheese.
Yep.
The music, we did that. Then the language, the best speakers have always been Black people. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X.
Yep, Malcolm X, Jackson, and
Jones,
Mufasa.
the actor.
Yes.
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones.
That's right, And then because of the fact we did this, but we never looked at it. See, we never really see. I like to say sometimes, we're the only people where they committed Black genocide, but they didn't kill us all. Mm-hmm. What they did in a sense is that instead of them killing us off, they made you believe that you had no culture. They made you believe you had no language. They made you believe you had nothing. You see, mm-hmm. They made you believe that you wasn't an Aboriginal. They made you believe that this wasn't your country. They made you believe in a sense that your grandma and your auntie was raped. That's why you light skinned. They made us believe all this ish. And they made you believe that we all came from Africa. See?
I gotta cut you off. There's a song by C.A.I.D.S. It's called I'm Black. And I think it is on one of my reels from this week. And I like it. I think it's a nice song, appropriate enough for the minis. And he's talking about being Black and how proud he is about being Black. And in the song he says, even if my skin is kind of light, it means my ancestors was raped by somebody white. And this week, I don't know why this week, but this week we paused the song to talk to the minis about, now y'all know that that's not true, right? And they cut us off and they're like, no, we know Black people come in all different shades and colors and that has nothing to do with white people. And then I had to tell them, in real time, what people thought and what we're learning now, is there's going to be levels, and some people haven't been exposed to the same information that y'all get, in school. People have to get to their very big age before they start learning about different things. But you can look at people's families, and they know that
Yeah.
they've had light-skinned people in their family, and they know that two light-skinned people can make a dark baby. They know two dark people can make a light-skinned baby, and that had nothing to do with a white person.
Because see, like my grandmother, she used to say, well, I love your mama, but she kind of brought down the winners, because see, the winners are all super light skinned. Even when you go back in the records, and I went back to the records of Mississippi census and North Carolina census, and they always describe the winners as being mulattoes, and one of my grand uncles had a really funny name. But anyway, but the thing is this, and so my grandmother, she said, I love Diane, but could you kind of, if she was just a little lighter, the, I said she's lighter than me. Well, just a lighter, because my cousins, Johnny Jr. and Ernie, they when they went away to college, they came back with really super light skinned girlfriends, and married super light skinned people. They keep the winners tradition, and they were the Harris tradition, because my auntie married they were Harris, my cousins. But they were all super light skinned, and so then. But I mean, damn, I look at some of my pictures when I was little, and it seems as though the more knowledge I got, the smarter I got. Seems as though I got the darker. But I mean, what can I say? Let's take a few minutes. I want to show a few commercials, family. So let's take a break for a while.
Actually, Dr. Winters,
Go ahead.
before you do that, because it's crazy, where I'm sitting in my living room, my altar's right in front of me. Y'all can't see it, but one of my great great grands.
Mind you, go and walk over there and show a picture. Put it on the camera. If you
I
can.
will get it.
Take the computer or the picture. Okay.
Um, ah. It's so crazy. It's so crazy that we're talking about this tonight because of where I'm sitting and what I was looking at. And I hope you guys can see this. And I never really plan on getting super personal with y'all like this, but this, if you can see her, is one of my great grands. And she was really, 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 really light, right? And you can see she's got this hat on. They told me it's because of how light she was that she, had issues with the sun, right? But the story is that she said that she wanted to get back to her roots. And then she went out and found the blackest man that she could find, and then they fell in love and had a baby, and then
they still do that. We still do that, don't light skin,
right. She, but she didn't try to do the light skin thing. She tried to go, back black, and then now, we have all sorts of different shades in my family, and I don't think she's the only super light one, but I do know that in her story, she's listed as a mulatto. There's no father listed, so I think that people would assume that some sort of tragedy happened, but
now
I just
know
that part of her story is like she said, no, I want to be black, and I want us to be black, so she goes and finds black.
But but now we know. That's why I really loved when I really started thinking about our names and our ancestries. And when I found out about the Black Irish, that Oliver Cromwell sent over 300,000 Irish chattel slaves. He said, nigga, you ain't coming back here. You're a chattel slave. And he sent over 100,000 children. And then when I started reading the McKay book, and in the McKay book, they talk about your Jacobites, and they describe them, coal black nigga here. He's the treasurer. And then you go to the internet and you look up at the treasurer, and then they got a picture of some white man. But then McKay said that he was coal black. But see, this is why in a sense You have to do research. That's why I taught my research class. I tried to encourage them because, see, we were conditioned to believe that your grandma, my grandma, and all of them, they was all light-skinned because some white man raped them. No, they wasn't. We
No,
was
that's
already
self-esteem.
light-skinned Indians, light-skinned Black Irish. See, but we've been conditioned to feel that the white man, in a sense, he gave us everything. And then we never thought about the fact, how is Thomas Jefferson, how we get our names from our damn masters when Thomas Jefferson was supposed to be raping, Sally Hemings? How the hell, why she not Sally Jefferson? See?
Look, some of these arguments that you bring up are my forever arguments now, because it's very hard to falsify it. I love that you taught me falsification. People shouldn't teach me stuff like that, because I will ride that line very hard, because you can't move me. I'm very stubborn. So you're going to have to prove me wrong. And in real time, things that we've learned, y'all know that that's not true. Just like with Sally Hemings and Thomas Jefferson, just like light-skinned people in your family, just like not having a culture, and then they gave us everything. That's a self-esteem hit. They don't want you to feel good about anything, because we're not supposed to be here. Look, let me take my glasses off for this. I think that in real time, if they could have killed us all after slavery, they would have. But there's too many of us, and it doesn't make sense. Well, it's too many, and it doesn't make sense, because a permanent underclass, you got to have people working. Like, so if you kill all the workers, then, well, now you're saying that you're going to work, and I don't think they wanted to do that either. But, that silver lining is that we've been this melting pot of supermen and superwomen who know that they're not going to be here for a long time. They're here now, but it's not, I don't think it's their forever moment, as much as they could have a forever moment if they weren't racist, if they weren't trying to stay themselves and wanted to level up, right? But that's a different conversation.
Okay, who's the majority in South Africa? Black or white people?
Black people.
Okay, the majority of people in South Africa are Black. Where did the Afrikaners get the ideas about apartheid?
From America?
From America, yeah. Now think about this. If the Boers in South Africa came to America to learn how to control their Black majority population, what does that tell you about foundational Black Americans? Are they the minority, or are they really the majority?
That's the majority.
That's right. You never thought about it.
An argument. Look, how can y'all falsify these arguments, you guys? Because in real time, Dr. Winters is going to get us to reparative justice overnight, because you can't, once you know something, you are choosing to be stupid, and I will make you feel stupid for choosing to be stupid. So, I'm sorry. You wanted to go to commercial. You can go to commercial. Let me not be stupid.
Let's look at this from this. Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana. There's more people on the South, Black people on the South side of Chicago than in all of those states put together. You see, they have to make you feel you're a minority, because of the fact, in a sense, that if you feel you're a minority, you'll stay in your place.
Oh, for sure.
See, but the point is the thing about it is that to understand our relationship with Caucasians or white people, you had to go back to Neely Fuller. And what did Neely Fuller teach us? He said we're prisoners of war. How did they get Aboriginal Black slaves? The ones who lost the battles, they were sold into slavery over here in America. How did they get Black Irish? The Black Irish who were defeated by the Black Protestants, they were sent over to America as POWs. How did they get the Africans? They kidnapped them from their villages. We are a POW people. That's why we're not scared of white folks. We try to do what we can to survive. We try to play along and get along, but we're not afraid, and we fight white supremacy. But anyway, the thing is that, you guys, please support these programs, because they can do nothing but help us.
Supplemental fundamental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story, and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
That's that you try to support this because our kids need to be learning about who they are so they won't be caught up in this pandemic that's killing us. Yes, this pandemic is killing us. We're dying. Our children are dying because the fact is that they don't know their history, they don't know their culture, and we have to start setting up homeschools. Today is today. We need to homeschool our children due to white supremacy. In many states, education departments are passing laws to deny our children from learning the history of foundational Black Americans. Today, you can learn how to organize and teach your children in a homeschool in my book, A Guide to Homeschool Foundational Black Americans. You can use my book, History of Blacks in America from Prehistory to 1877, to teach our children their history here in the United States. You can use my book to teach world history. And this book I've written is called The World History of the Black World. This will teach your children about every Black civilization in the world. Get this book. The time is now. Get these books to teach your children about their greatness, to prevent them from losing confidence in their own ability to learn and be successful future adults in employment and education.
What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB, or find me on X at Justice4 Us. That's JUSTICE 4 JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first.
You had to buy that sweatshirt. You had to buy that sweatshirt. Just Eve is selling those sweatshirts. Go to that site, support her. Support this sister. Come on now.
So dreamy.
Hey, I've just written a new book, History and Culture of the Black Aboriginals of America. Yes, I've written a new book. This book is called History and Culture of Afro-Americans. It's about the Aboriginal Americans. It's about the first people who inhabited America. Many people don't know about our great culture, this super culture that we created, but I discussed this book. In 489 pages, you'll find out so much information, great information, about, in a sense, what the Aboriginal foundational Black Americans did. You're going to see, in a sense, that Black people contributed much here. When the first Europeans got here, that's what they found. Yes, they found Black Aboriginals inhabiting the Americas. It was the Black Aboriginals that built this country. This is why you had to get my book. Get my book, History and Culture of the Aboriginal Blacks of the Americas. In this book, you will find out the truth. You will know what we created. You will know who we are. Get this book. Buy it now. In the hardback edition, I put an index in the hardback edition. This is 400 pages. All the other books that you find, they talk about that. That the Black people were the slaves of the Indians. That's why. Whenever you call yourself a freeman, you're saying that you were the slave of the Cherokee, Chickasaw, and all that. El Meso. No, the original 5 civilized tribes, they were Black people. The Algonquin Confederation, those were Black people. The Iroquois plantation, those were Black people. If you get my book, this book, in a sense, if you get it, you're going to find out how how many of the so-called tribes today in the Midwest, and they'll show you some red Indians. Those are not the original tribes. The white man sent them out there to pretend that they are you. You know, the best example of this is that we know from history, if you've seen in a sense, you know, American Maroon, you know, the Seminoles were mainly nothing but black people. And yet you go to Florida today, the Seminoles are red men. You go to Florida, you go out to Oklahoma, the Seminoles, the damn chief is a white man. That's all bullish. Get my book. Get my book. The History and Culture of the Black Aboriginals of the Americas. Get that book, and that book will tell you the real history of our people. You know, and also if you got any program, if you got a website, if you want to make it look good, you got to go ahead and support Yoshi-Mod. Yoshi-Mod will make your website fantastic. He did mostly all the commercials. He did the commercial for the school. I think he said he did that commercial for the Sunday school.
Yes,
He does all of my promos. What'd you say, Eve?
Yes, he did the Sunday school commercial, and I think we have some new stuff coming out, and I love his brain. The ancestors blessed that man with some with a creative gene that is missing from these spaces. You guys gotta check it out. I get so sad when I see something of his that's really cool and it only has like 2 likes on it, but it has all these views. Stop hate watching this man shit.
Right. And you know, get him and support him, and he can make your site super. And the beauty of Yoshi-Mod is that he can make the music. He can write the music for you. He can make the commercial. He can do the artwork. Support this brother. Check him out. If you want to have a beautiful site, let him do it for you. You know, he's got reasonable prices.
Since the gold touch her heart with a dinner rose. Shake the spirit one time, it gets old. She gon' take me out of space into another zone. Free spirit, she ain't messing with them petty hoes. Microwaves and cobalt outside her phone. Smoking in that vibe and smoking good on that drone. Call me eating out with the cuz all up in a fro. This queen approach, she gon' drop it low to the flow. You know she liquid gold with the alchemy in the bowl. Trippy super soul is the greatest tale never told. She gon' get you right, you can set up a point of goals. You gon' spend the night in the harmony out with your toes. Know she's super fine and the aura down to her bones. Super magic fairy, I'm lost in the rituals. She give me life like butterflies on the rose. Really rich and old, ain't nothing like cracker trolls. Sitting in the clothes, an extraterrestrial. And she never folds, her crackers up in the throat. She drink your wine, she rock you up like a pole. And she spark my mind with intellectual pose. Shake butter oils and linger up in your nose. Independent goddess, like rhythm up in the soul.
Yellow honey, drip slow, sweet agave, at the toe. Independent finance, wine, citrus mist. My Wonder Woman, I wonder how to.
You know, support Tones 5. Some of this jewelry is so beautiful. You've seen some of it, and some of the pieces has been found in the mounds. Yes, some of the mound pieces. He's made reproductions. Support this brother, because I'm telling you is that he has a fine product, and you'll look cool in it too. So be supportive. And you know, because see, we need in a sense to be more supportive of our people, because you know, we need it. But most importantly, we have to deal with the children. We have to, in a sense, understand that it's through the children that we're going to find, you know, progress into the children that we're going to have a better tomorrow for us and for them.
Supplemental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story, and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
Monthly, it's only $30. But that $30 is going to bring you so much. It's going to help your children, in a sense, to be able to feel more, have an intact, self-esteem. They're going to feel good about themselves. They're going to know who they are. They're not going to be susceptible to C.A.I.D.S. Maybe if they become a great athlete, they'll marry a sister so she can be a millionaire when the brother dies.
Hey.
Let me tell you, when I was a teacher, when I was teaching, we could buy insurance. So I had about $400,000 or $500,000 insurance on me, So I said, damn, when I die, my baby dies, she'll be cool. Yeah, I know my kid's gonna be trying to help get her to spend all the money up, but no, she'll still be okay. Damn. Then as soon as I retired, they wouldn't let me keep the policy
because they know how to work us to death.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, the men who are with these women who don't look like them tend to die earlier. And that makes me sad because I have two brothers who, one of them, I don't think he's super stressed as much as I know that he's got a very high risk type of job. But maybe he chose that profession because of what we've been talking about tonight. My other brother is absolutely stressed. His white woman has stressed him the fuck out in every single way possible. And self-inflicted wounds hurt. This is not me disparaging you as much as I know from my own experience that self-inflicted wounds hurt, but you don't have to get stuck there. You can learn from them. You can move. You can grow. But it is rough after you've started making babies and you say, oh shit, I fucked up. But I think that that's better than not acknowledging you fucked up at all. And then they have to grow up and unlearn things that you could have taught them in real time. That's why my hat's off to Isla for how she's able to break the stuff down in the code book for the children, because that book is complex. It's not for the casual reader as much as understanding that racism, white supremacy is supposed to confuse you. That should give you a leg up when you're reading the book. Like, yes, a lot of this shit is confusing, but if I slow it down, I should be able to understand it because this is my experience being explained. And yeah, there's nuances. Everybody doesn't have the same experience, but essentially we're all kind of going through the same thing in different ways. So if we use templates like Mr. Fuller's book, then we don't have to be stuck on stupid. And these babies, I'm trying to tell you, the way that they know what reparations are, the way they know who Black Americans are, those were my two main things to ensure that they could just tell you and be comfortable about it. If they go out into the world and people are like, well, who are you and where are you from? Well, they can say they're from America. They're Black Americans. They're foundational Black Americans. Oh, what is that? Well, I'm supposed to be here and you're not. Or I got here before you and, or your people just got here. White people like to say that they're not colonizers. So I'll say that they can be foundational white Americans, but that makes you a colonizer because you weren't here either. You came at the foundation of, well, not even at the foundation. You were at the reins of controlling how things were founded. But then from there's not enough of y'all to keep the shit where you want it to be. We have moved things in ways that they didn't want us to move things. And that's a self-inflicted wound on their part, you know. So it's an equal opportunity on this reality check tonight, Dr. Winters. I think that if we got more comfortable praising our wins, accepting our defeats, you know, learning from them, then we can jump really high, or we can run really far, faster, um, defeating the odds. You know, that's our story. The Black
It is
American
our
story
story.
is defeating the odds.
It is our story because look at how look at from where we came. I mean, I'm so proud to be a descendant of chattel slaves because see, we're the only former slaves in history that now a lot of us are living better than our masters.
Mm.
Now some of us are billionaires, millionaires, thousandaires. A lot of us are doing so good. Cool Dude, he said, "Good evening, friends. With all we have been through and what was stole from us, still we rose like golden pros." That's right. We rose because the thing is, this is that we were able to take those words and we were able, in a sense, to share the words. Andrew Paris, what up, though? What up, though?
Though.
Because the thing is, this is that we have to be prepared. We have to be ready to share. And that's the way things are. It's very important. It's very important that we do this. And then let's see what just Eve. What did you say? I'm
Um,
dead as earth.
Earth Angel was saying that, well, they were laughing at me saying to stop hate watching Yoshi stuff, but in real time, I'm sitting and listening to some of his music, and I'm like, I'm bobbing my head. I go to hit the likes, and I'm like number 2 or like number 1, but it's been viewed 17 times. So maybe all 17 of y'all didn't like it, but 5 of y'all liked that shit. I know you did, because it was a bop. How do I know? Because I was bopping my head to it, and I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of sounds where, I don't vibe to trash, and I don't think Yoshi's made anything that I would consider trash as much as I feel like
He can make some good
that's
stuff.
interesting. Yeah, no, I really like some of his stuff, and then some stuff I'm like, that's different.
Yeah, he makes it's stuff to make you think about. But could you read this?
That's from Isla. If you want to support the Minis education, check out our Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/FBA Sunday School. But as I said earlier, this Sunday coming up, we're having a class meeting for the parents to discuss this upcoming school year. So we're going to be moving off of Patreon, and memberships will be available here on my platform, which is now available. You can check out the membership tab, but all of our babies, all the minis who join us for the first year, will never have to worry about tuition for Sunday school anymore, because we really appreciate their sticking with us for the year, and how they've been able to learn. So we're giving back to them and
You know,
hope to expand. So
you guys out there, check the like, subscribe. I know I know that we're getting more views than they're showing, but I mean, at one time I saw that I had 300 views. Then the next thing I knew, when I went to the analytics, they had pushed it down to 20. So I know that so you guys, come on, subscribe. Put the like button there, and write this website down. Come back, look at the videos, support these teachers, support them, because see, we need, in a sense, because our babies need it. And she's absolutely correct. It's the babies that keep them there. That's right. You gotta want to work for the babies. You got to, in a sense, want to be able to share, because see, they're our future, and I mean that in real time. They're our future. They don't want us to have a future. They don't want our children to have intact egos. Yes, intact egos. My mom, when I was growing up, she always tried to make us understand: don't ever think you're better than anybody else, but respect everybody. But you keep on trying, and you can be the top dog.
that's
Yeah,
right. That's
and
right.
that's a very important thing. Come on, you guys can do just like
Look, it's the Nooks. Order that shit, you guys. Black Originals in the Americas book. Um,
right.
Dr. Winters has so many books, and you guys are out here saying that you don't have access to the
Yeah.
information, or you don't know how to Google it or whatever. Well, you can open up a book. like with pages and
Yeah.
flip and take notes and highlight things. I love that. I think that's the teacher in me. I want to take notes. I want to highlight. Me and Isla have had this conversation. She doesn't even loan her books out to people anymore because they're not.
Isla, you're mean.
Well, then people don't give your shit back either. So
No, they don't.
you've got this resource that, okay, and right now I'm bad because I have one of my boss's books. I'm gonna give it back to you, Molly Moon. Just not yet. I'm not done reading it. But she writes notes in the seam, and she's got post-its and highlights, and how do you know that you understood what you read? But everybody wants to be entertained, right? And I think that with our conversation tonight about self-esteem and ego and winning, I think that you can be entertained there, but don't get stuck there, and then don't get stuck being a spectator wanting to be entertained. You gotta go out and do, or you can't complain about what's not being done. My utmost respect to you, Dr. Winters, for not being an egotistical person, because I think that maybe you would have got. So maybe you wouldn't be here. Look, if you had done it the fucked up way, you would be able to be in ancestor realm with your baby doll. So
yeah, and I'd be happy. But she might have a soulmate. I'd rather be that Clyde that's in Italy right now, and she's my mistress. And anyway, that's there. But you guys, Just Eve has so much that she can provide you guys. You got to join that Sunday school. Come back, write down these websites.
Before we go, I actually dropped a new product right before.
Can you show it?
Live. Yes.
Please show it.
Here's the website. I hope you guys can see it. And on the website, look, I make cookies. It's just Eve again, but really it's just vegan, because I was making these cookies for a long time and people like the cookies. They're vegan, but they don't taste like it. If you were at the FBA Expo, you had a chance to try our chocolate chip cookies, and for what it's worth, I feel like we got a really good reception there, and we've got people who order cookies. But what I wanted to talk about was this new product. It is $33.33. Why? Because I like the number 3, and I think that right now, with what we've got going on, the mommy, the daddy, and the babies, that's 3. The Black family is a perfect 3. And maybe you've got more than 3, because we've got 5. So it's 7 of us here. And 7's another one of those funny numbers, like 3. Is it a prime number? I'm not a math teacher, Dr. Winters, so don't. I like the math, but I'm not a math teacher.
But you always have math, right?
Because the math's got a math. So while people might say, Eve, that's a lot of money for a water bottle, I'm just going to let you know that the work that we do, it's work. It really is work. Nobody gives a damn. And if y'all don't care, then okay, don't care. But don't act like you want us to be out here doing these things for free, because I'm not all the way free. All the way free is in the chat. And really, he doesn't even work for free either. So I guess I'm going to have to pay him when he gets home for posting once in the chat. No, I'm just kidding. I would like to see that more people support the things that they say that they support. And yeah, sometimes it's going to be expensive, but I promise that when you show that somebody is important or that the work matters, you will get it back tenfold. I spend
3 is a prime number.
Isla and I spend a lot of money on Sunday school, making sure that they have resources out of our own pockets. In my day-to-day as a teacher, I spend money out of my own pocket to make sure that my students don't lack. I don't like hungry students. You can't learn. I don't like students who need attention because you can't learn. So if I got to give you extra attention because you're not getting any at home, or if you didn't eat today. But look, some of y'all are watching this show right now. Go to bed. But some of y'all, I know you leave your lunch because you want to eat my food. Stop doing that. But
stop eating our food. Stop.
But no, I really enjoy talking to the minis, because like you said, they're our future. And I think that if more adults gave a damn about the type of adults that they became, then we wouldn't have so many fucked up people out here. I don't mean to cuss so much tonight, but the trauma that we have to deal with from each other. And then people talk about, well, I was raised on survival, or I was raised on love. And I'm like, well, how do you even feel about yourself if you were raised on survival? Like, do you have a healthy sense of self if you were
You
not
can't.
raised on love? Like people are getting together and making babies. And then these babies think that there's something wrong with them because they're a product of miscommunication, and that all these things are self-inflicted because nobody wants to talk, or so many other people that shouldn't be talking are talking, and then we get drowned out. The algorithm doesn't pick up on this conversation because people want to talk about Diddy or something else. Or
I was looking at this program the other day, and they were talking about the throwaway women in Japan and the throwaway women in China because they got so much education that nobody wants to marry them.
oh
And
damn,
then you hear people like Kevin Samuels when he was allowed to. Yes, get
go
these.
over there.
No, nobody likes educated women. I'm sorry to say.
That
I
is
love them if that's what you want. But the thing is this, the beauty of it is this, Eve, is that we have to really check our egos. Because see, a lot of time I really feel that it's a lot of baby mamas out there because of lies. And you want to believe when somebody tells you they love you, you want to believe that they love you. You see, but again, in a sense, a lot of times people go out and they have sex, and yes, but I feel a lot of that comes from the lies that sometimes we tell each other, or we're not able to really support children. That's what they were talking about. That a lot of people in Japan and China, especially China, they're not getting married because the men say I can't afford a baby, and over there they got to pay dowries, and the dowry is hundreds is thousands of yuan. And I said, damn, I didn't know they still had to pay dowries over in China to get married. Just think if your husband would have had to pay a dowry for you. If I would have had to pay a dowry for my wife, and we got married when I was 19, shit, I
that's
wouldn't have had her.
all,
Some old man would have got her.
all the way free in the chat. We were just talking about that because that's my man. You guys, for y'all that didn't know, we were just talking about how every time we leave the house, it's like $100. You can't, if you don't leave the house, it's like $50. But in real time, he's like one of those pygmies we were talking about. He's like a leprechaun in real time. I don't
Superman,
know
huh?
how he's able to afford us, but he very much works very hard to do those things. But over in them other countries where you got to pay a dowry, and then they got a child cap, and then actually, no, we didn't mean the child cap because we're going in the red, and oh shit, it's too many women over here, and oh shit, they got
Right.
education, and yeah, you got the passport bros saying that you got to go over there to find quality, and those women are running over here because they don't want to be over there.
And
Oh,
then as soon as they get over here, that Filipino lady, next thing you know, she bossing you around, and
mhm.
and you got to go, and she wants to be free too. And sometimes she might even divorce you when she gets around her friends.
Yeah,
But the main thing is this: is that we live in a lot of delusions, and our ego can lead us astray. Our ego can lead us astray. And I have to agree with Kudu. Kudu is a teacher in New York City, and Kudu says some people need to grow up and stop letting their egos and appetites get the best of them. We may need a new temperance movement to check our egotism. That may be true. We're getting. Oh, it's already 2 hours. Did you want to make a final comment, Eve?
I know. I was loving this conversation tonight because I feel like we could just keep going. Ego is a big thing, at least for me, because um, growing up, we were told that you can't be so loud. Okay, you go to the library, you can't be loud in the library. Makes
Yeah.
sense. You got to use your inside voice when we're inside places. Okay, that makes sense. But then in real time, when I grew up and I found that there's a lot of people who are afraid of talking, afraid of being loud, telling other people that they're too loud or they're not, that it's too much control. And then having these minis, if you don't stifle them, they'll show you some things, you know. But if you quell it, or you smother it even, and then help them maintain their win. Like, why'd you make them if you didn't want them to succeed? Unless
Right.
you've got some other issues going on. And yeah, there are people out here with some other issues going on. So this topic is very near and dear to me. I hope maybe we come back to it. But I think to the audience, I might have talked their head off enough tonight. So just check out my shop, check out our school. Send Dr. Winter some more Cash Apps, because he likes to eat good, and one of these days he's gonna do my tutorial on how to make a pancake.
That's right, because I'm gonna make it look real good. You guys have a great evening, and support the people who are out there speaking up for you. Come on, let's support each other.
If you're not going to speak up, you're the one to do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the one to do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the one to do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the one to do. By as they prey on your fears and stay away.